welcome and thank you to the application modernization session on Azure. My name is Nicole Herskowitz, and I work on the Azure team focused on application development on our platform. Now, this session is a 100-level session, and it's designed to really help you think about your application portfolio and approaches for modernizing it. Not all apps are created equal, so we want to share with you some best practices and learnings that we've had from a Microsoft perspective in our journey to the cloud, in addition to sharing some customer examples, show you a quick demo on some of our services that we use to modernize applications. And then, of course, I'll point you to some other sessions where you can go super deep on the various services and capabilities for modernizing apps within your portfolio. So with that, I'll dive right in. Now, the modern world runs on code, basically, and is powered by applications. So even the smallest and simplest things that you interact with on a day-to-day life is kind of driven by the capabilities of software. And you feel it every day. If you look around you in a kind of urban setting, you'll see your traffic control systems where you've got traffic lights and cameras. Well, that system alone runs on 5 million lines of code. And if you're to look at airplanes and the airline control and computer systems, those systems are made up on average of 14 million lines of code. And then finally, if you look at maybe a luxury car like a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, that automobile runs on over 120 million lines of code. Clearly, these experiences are based on software. So what does all this mean to you? It means that the people who are building and maintaining these applications are truly transforming businesses and changing people's lives. So whether you're building a next-generation business application, an IoT solution, or a home automation system, there's truly no better time to be a developer. Now, in this world, with this explosive growth of applications and devices and interconnected experiences, the one key thing is that the cloud serves as an essential foundation for all of these diverse applications. And Azure is designed to be the best cloud for your application development, providing you with the flexibility and the power that you need for both existing applications and building new applications. And Azure is uniquely a full-stack cloud where we enable you all of your application development, from front-end experiences on mobile devices to back-end services and infrastructure for running your applications, to ways to store and add in, data and add intelligence to your applications. And then also we have DevOps capabilities built right into the application platform of Azure. And finally, Azure supports your choice of languages, tools, services, and frameworks that you want to use for application development. Now, I'm not just going to tell you that Azure is the best cloud for application development. I will also point you to some Magic Quadrants from Gartner, where in each of these areas, from front-end development to back-end services to operational databases and DevOps capabilities, Microsoft is the only hyperscale public cloud to be rated in the leader quadrant. And all this just shows is our commitment to delivering a full-stack cloud designed for application development. At the same time, as you think about your journey to the cloud and how best to modernize your portfolio of applications, we know that you've made a ton of existing investments, and you need to figure out what to do with those investments. Some applications in your portfolio may no longer kind of be delivering the needs of the business. And so with Azure, we design and provide services to make it easy for you to modernize them and advance them to address the needs of your customers and your business. But before we kind of jump into this, one thing that we commonly hear from our customers is that one of the biggest pain points is IT budgets and IT resources are primarily spent on just keeping the lights on administrative tasks. Over 70% of IT budget is allocated to those legacy applications, those legacy environments that need to be kept on. The great thing about the cloud is that it gives you that opportunity to transform how your IT resources are being used so that you can free up capacity to focus more on innovation and less on, administration. Excuse me. So let's talk about some of those different paths to the cloud. Now, at the kind of very high level, as you all know, applications are typically made of these kind of 3 levels or layers. At the top layer is your application code, where you have the functionality and the business logic of your application. In the middle tier, you have the data that you consume, that you store, that you produce related to your application. And finally, at the bottom level is your infrastructure that you actually run your application on. This could be your servers, your virtual machines, the networking, and so on. Now, the key thing when you move to the cloud, you need to think about all these different aspects of your application. But you don't have to treat each of them the same. So, for example, you might decide to keep your data on premises for maybe security or governance reasons, and just move the application code and infrastructure to the cloud. This is a very common kind of hybrid scenario that we often see our customers in regulated industries embrace. And so when you think about your broad application portfolio, there are different paths to how you can move to the cloud. In some cases, you might just migrate some of your applications, maybe lift and shift your data, your application code, and infrastructure to VMs in the cloud. Other cases, you may embrace a more modernization approach where you modify your application to take advantage of some of the benefits of the cloud. And finally, in some cases, you may decide to fully rebuild an application because you want to embrace a more cloud-native approach based on the requirements for your application and build a more microservices-based architecture. Now, this kind of migrate to cloud-native design approach is very much in line with how Gartner talks about application portfolio modernization. And they use what they call the 5 R's, which we cover on the slide, which talks about everything from rehosting to fully replacing applications when you do an application portfolio assessment and determine how best to move to the cloud. We also add into it, it's not just about how you architect the applications, it's also about your approach for maintaining and updating those applications, and embracing DevOps is truly key to take advantage of the cloud benefits that you can embrace when you move to the Azure. So to make this framework really feel real, I thought I'd share with you a case study. And this case study is the Microsoft IT case study, and how we did a full assessment of our application portfolio to determine how best to move to Azure. And we gained a lot of learnings that I want to share with you today that hopefully will help you to think through your overall application portfolio modernization. First, we, like many of you, had tons of investments in existing applications. Over 3,500 applications were in our portfolio. There were small ones, there were big ones, there were complex and simple applications, so we couldn't treat them all the same. But what we did quickly realize is that about 30% of those applications could just be retired, because we had applications with duplicate functionality. We had applications that were being used in the kind of business units and shadow IT, but we had central IT solutions that were maybe more secure or preferred by IT to be implementing broadly across the company. We freed up so much IT capacity by just retiring a bunch of applications. Next, we realized that there were a good percentage of our applications, about 15% of them, that we could move from running servers ourselves to SaaS-based solutions. Here's some great examples of Office servers like Exchange Server and SharePoint Server that we could just move to Office 365, and we could get out of the business of running those solutions. CRM systems are another great example of SaaS-based solutions that you can adopt and then once again get out of administering and running those applications yourself. The next category was those custom applications. About 50% of the applications in our portfolio were custom applications that we had built. But once again, they weren't all the same. We found 3 kind of core categories of applications. Some which I would describe were kind of more simple applications. They were basic web applications, static portals, three-tiered applications that were quite easy to move to the cloud. Others were much more complex systems that were going to be harder, and we had to do more planning to determine how best to shift them to Azure. You know, one example of one of those simple kind of web applications that we moved to the cloud first was our employee vacation application. It's called Microsoft Vacation. And this is where our employees go in and kind of log in their vacation time. Moving this to a PaaS-based solution just made a ton of sense. It was easy to move. It was a low-risk application, and it helped our team build some of the experiences of working with a PaaS-based platform, in addition to not causing any risk to the business when they made that movement. Now, finally, the last thing I'll call out in this slide is that about 5% of our applications, we decided we're just going to leave on-prem. Some of these applications already had sunset dates defined. We didn't want to invest any more in these applications, so we said we'll leave them on premises until they end their life cycle. Someone is getting a call. And so these were some of our key learnings. One I would call out is, doing this application portfolio assessment is a great opportunity for IT to just overall clean house. It's a great way for you to free up some capacity within your IT team when you realize that there's a significant number of applications that you no longer need to be running. Next, don't kind of give up on any cloud hosting model for your different applications too soon. Some applications are perfect fits for moving to SaaS. Others are great fits for IaaS or PaaS. There's not one model that fits all. So really incorporate all of these cloud hosting models in your thinking. And finally, for custom applications, as I hit on before, we really looked at multiple categories to stage out how we move to the cloud. I talked already about some of those simple applications that were really easy to move to a PaaS platform and free up our administration time for our applications. In parallel, we also found that more of our complex applications were much easier to move right to IaaS and get some of the cloud benefits and then modernize those applications later. And finally, for some of those applications where we had legacy, undocumented code, we didn't want to touch that code. We wanted to leave it as is, but then if we need to modernize it, use some of the kind of serverless or other kind of functions-based capabilities to add new features to those existing applications. Now, I'm just scratching the surface on some of our learnings from kind of our app modernization process at Microsoft IT. We have a dedicated ebook that I encourage you to go and download, and hopefully you can leverage some of these learnings as well as you look to modernizing your portfolio of applications at your company. Now, I want to hit on just one customer example and how they've modernized apps within their portfolio. Specifically, this is Absolut. I'm sure you all are aware of this alcoholic beverage company that's based out of Sweden, and they are a marketing-centric company. They need to ensure that they are representing their brand right, that they have a great web presence, that they can drive digital campaigns, engage deeply with their customers. And in the past, the IT team worked with a hosting provider to host all of their web servers. What was happening is that it took 5 days to be able to update any of their websites. Well, this was not working in alignment with the business needs, where they needed to update content much more quickly and be able to engage more deeply with their customers with ongoing changes and releasing new websites, new locations. So Absolut partnered with Microsoft and Episerver to come up with a new strategy for all of their websites. And based on that, they moved to Azure App Service, where they were able to no longer worry about any of that underlying infrastructure and administration of those servers, and now focus more on the actual websites and adding new content and increasing new velocity with releasing websites. And what that meant is they went from days to actual minutes for updating content changes and releasing new websites. And so the scenarios that I hit on here are very common with what we see with our customers who have web applications that often struggle with challenges like how do you provide 24/7 uptime for all of your applications, provide the performance requirements needed for your web applications. Well, App Service has that all built right into the platform infrastructure. You have auto scaling, you have failover, and a broad range of capabilities like load balancing so that your application is never at risk. So if a campaign goes viral, IT can guarantee that customers will have a great performance. At the same time, many of our customers struggle with the ability to update their website on a continuous cadence. Well, with Azure App Service, we have DevOps capabilities built right into the platform, so it's very easy to release new capabilities right into your application and web app experience. And finally, as I mentioned, by using a PaaS platform, you no longer have to worry about the administration of the underlying servers, the upgrades and patches required for those servers. That's all handled for you. So it frees up IT time, so more of the IT resources can be focused on application innovation. We'll hit them at the end if that's okay, but thank you. And if I don't get to hit it at the end, come up and we'll chat offline. Now, I'm actually going to show you a demo to kind of bring some of these services to life and help you understand how you can modernize applications within your portfolio. Now, to set this demo up, I want to tell you a little bit about this company. It's Smart Hotel 360. It's a fictitious hospitality company, and they have an existing registration app that their hotel employees use. Now, they want to rehost that web application in the cloud in addition to the supporting SQL database. At the same time, they want to improve or modernize that application to make the customer experience more powerful. But at the same time, they don't want to touch any of their production code. So what is the makeup of this application? This web app consists of an ASP.NET web form-based application. It also has a WCF service. It works with a SQL database, but to modernize this application, I'm going to use some serverless capabilities enabled through Logic Apps. I'm also going to use some of our AI services with cognitive services that will ultimately lead me to sending a personalized email to my customers. So with that, let's jump right into the demo. All right. All right, you can see it. Great. So here I am. I'm in Visual Studio, and what you can see is that I have my web application, and it composes, as I mentioned before, of an ASP.NET web forms-based application. It also has a WCF service that I built to enable a web service API to connect to my SQL database. Now, I know that ASP.NET Web Forms run great on Azure App Service, but what I want to do is make sure that I can run this WCF service on App Service as well. So I'm going to go right ahead and use the easy publishing tools right within Visual Studio, and I will cross my fingers that this deploys great onto Azure App Service. We'll wait just a minute while it processes, and we'll see the outcome of this publishing experience. All right, now does anyone recognize this web page? Ooh, all right. It's not very pretty, but what it does prove is that you can easily publish a WCF service onto Azure App Service. So, pretty cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it. And now I'm going to show you my exciting application. Yes, this is the registration application. It is a basic CRUD application. For those of you who have built application using ASP.NET Web Forms, you've probably built something that looks quite similar. Basically, the primary role of this application is to allow the hotel staff to be able to check in or check out their guests when they come to the hotel. And I can do that function right here. But before I do that, I want to show you how this application is all running in Azure. You can see that I've got my web forms portion of the application right here. I also have the WCS service all running on Azure App Service. I've also already migrated my SQL database to Azure SQL Databases, and that's where I'm storing my application data. Now, What I'd really like to do is to modernize this application and really better welcome my guests when they come to the hotel. But I have a challenge. My new devs have no clue how this registration application was built, and they don't want to touch the code, and they definitely don't want to maintain that application. Well, that's okay, because I can use Logic Apps to basically build an extension to that application. And what's great about Logic Apps is that it provides this really easy-to-use workflow capabilities that I can kind of easily drag and drop and have a WYSIWYG type experience. So I've already set up my workflow, and what you can see is that I'm checking the SQL database for any changes to the bookings table. So basically, if anyone's checked in or checked out of the hotel. And if they have checked in or checked out, I want to send them a welcome or a thank you email for coming to our hotel. So let's go right into our application. Let's go ahead and check in one of our customers. And now that change will be made to the SQL database. And then the Logic app will be checking the SQL database. I think it said every 3 seconds to see if a change has been made. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to refresh my email. And I might have to refresh it one more time. It may not have been 3 seconds yet. And it's still waiting. It's going to happen. It's just going to take maybe a couple more seconds. But ultimately what will happen is I will get an email right in my inbox that will be welcoming my customers to, oh, I realize what my mistake was. I have my team probably telling me, you didn't enable it. So let me go back. I actually need to enable that workflow. I always work with a disabled workflow until I get it right. I better go back and actually enable the workflow. Let me go back to my application and do another check-in. Now, I will go back to my email. And sure enough, here you've got that welcome email where I've been able to provide that really personal touch to my customers. Now, I love providing that personal touch. The only thing I probably love better is providing a personal touch without writing any code. But I want to further improve that experience for my customers. We know that we have guests checking into the hotel from around the world, and their native language is not always English. In that case, I want to send a welcome email to them in their language of their local country. So with that, I'm going to go back into my Logic App Designer and show to you how we've built in some other capabilities which allows you to use cognitive services to translate the text of your email very easily. So here you can see I'm translating the subject line of my email with just a simple string. I can also translate the body of the email. What's cool here is I can use HTML and all the formatting will stay when I actually translate that email. And so now what I'll do is I'll go back to my application. I'll check in some customers that speak their native language is a different language, Spanish and German here. Now I will go back to my email inbox and I will refresh. And what you'll start to see is emails starting to come in. I've already got the email. Oops, let me make sure. Not yet, here we go. So here you can see my German email has just come in, welcoming my guests to the hotel. Now, I'm now getting excited about this kind of personalized experience that I can provide to my customers. And I think not only do I want to send them a welcome email, I want to send them an SMS text when they arrive at the hotel, giving them a free drink coupon. So once again, that's a super easy thing for me to do. Now, to make that happen very quickly, and because I'm even lazier, that not only do I not want to write code, I don't want to even create a new Logic app. So I'm going to clone my existing Logic app. This is very easy to do. I'm going to say coupon, maybe text. And once again, I'm not going to enable that workflow until I get it just right. I just have to remember to enable it. Now, what it's doing is it's copying that Logic app that I initially created, because I know I'm going to use a lot of the same fields and a lot of the same kind of workflow, but now I'm going to send a text instead of an email. Now, the key thing here is I'm actually staying at the Embassy Suites at Ignite, and I checked into the hotel the other day. And interestingly enough, I got a text saying, welcome to Embassy Suites. But unfortunately, they didn't give me a free drink. I'm going to solve that problem with this Logic app. And so I am going to, oops, did I just lose it? sure I now have that logic app. Oh. I think it just came in. I'll see if I can do a quick search. There we go. I think it was right there. Go right in. And as I bring up that logic app, what you'll see is that I'll be able to adjust the actual flow so that I can very quickly be able to change it, not from sending an email, but sending a text. Hopefully this is going to come up quick. Uh-oh. I think I may have had a little bit of a demo faux pas. I am going to go back to my logic app. And what I might need to do is quickly, here we do. I'm just going to reclone it very fast. I'm going to call it something different here. I'll do coupon check-in. I will disable it. And I will create, this time I will make sure that I don't miss when that resource has been used. Now, once again, as I said, it'll be really easy because I've got all of those steps ready to go, and all I'll need to do is customize those steps to ensure that I can very easily create the personalized experience that I want to have with my customers. So the deployment process in place, this is saving me a lot of time, and oh no, hopefully it's going to pop up in just a matter of seconds. I'm going to smooth. Never a demo, you don't have a little bit of a smooth. Never a demo, you don't have a little bit of a faux pas. See that? All right, I'm going to go right to that resource. And now you will see that I got that logic app that I can then quickly customize. I think some people are using my wireless today. That's slowing down my overall systems. I'm now going to go into the logic app designer. What you'll see very quickly is that I can customize it. What I'll do is, for example, I don't want to send an email. I'm going to delete that email. I also don't want to send the body of text that was in the email, so I'll delete that as well. Still want to check that SQL Server for check-in and check-out. I do want to customize the message to my customers, so I might want to say, have a drink on us. Here's a code, and I can use a field right from my database, so I will come right here, and I will get the customer code right from the database. And now I've got that done. And the next step in the process I want to do is to send an SMS message. So to do that, I need to find an SMS provider. Now I am in the Logic Apps library, where I have over 150 out-of-the-box connectors that you can use for creating experiences within your applications. I can use anything from maybe a connector to any database like SQL, which I've shown you already. I could also connect to an Oracle database. I could work with SaaS systems like Dynamics CRM or Salesforce. I could even connect to ERP systems like SAP. So right now, though, I just need to do basic SMS. I'm going to find an SMS provider. I have an account with Twilio, so I will use Twilio. All I want to do is send a text here. So I will go ahead and send a text. I will put the phone number that the text will come from. I will next indicate that I want the text to go to my customer's phone number. And then finally, I will just use the subject that I defined to actually impact that Logic app. I'm going to go ahead and save that application. And now finally, I will close out my demo. Once again, I don't want to mess it up. I've got to go ahead and actually enable. I need to go ahead and enable this. So I will go ahead and check in a customer. And what you're going to see is not only will it send an email, but it will also send a text message right to my phone offering me a free drink. So hopefully that text message is coming in. Oops, where's my phone? Oh, I think Michael's got it for me. Let's see. All right, let's see. Is my face recognition going to work here? Oh, it wants me to use so much for an Apple phone. But sure enough, what I did get was a welcome email with that coupon code to get a free drink. So pretty cool. All right. I am now going to switch back to my slides. All right, and they're up there. Now, finally, the last thing that I really want to hit on is that it's not just about how you architect the application. It is also about how your approach for deploying and ensuring that you can deliver applications faster and with higher quality. And that really requires embracing a DevOps approach. That's, moving dev and ops teams out of their silos and getting them to work together on the entire process for application development. Now, I know many of you probably attended Scott Guthrie's keynote, and you saw Azure DevOps in addition to Scott Hanselman's session, where we showed demos of how you can do everything from planning to monitoring your applications in production. So instead of going deep into the capabilities of Azure DevOps that we provide built into the Azure platform, I thought once again I would share with you a little bit of a story of our journey to DevOps at Microsoft, and once again point you to resources that you can leverage as you embrace a DevOps culture. The key thing that I want to call out here is this evolution to DevOps is not just about tooling. It's about the people, the processes, and the tools. And there's lots of examples on the slide that highlight some of the changes that we made. We looked at the roles of our engineering teams, and this was the actual Azure DevOps engineering team, this case study, just so I'm clear. So the team that's building the services for DevOps is also the team that I'm giving you a case study on. And we were moving from a world where we were shipping waterfall packaged software every 2 to 3 years. And now we were going to be shipping services to our customers. So from a people perspective, as I mentioned, we were looking at roles. We were looking at how the teams were structured. We were all previously in kind of separate offices. And we said, wow, we need to collaborate better. We need to be in open plans and in team rooms so people can solve problems together and collaborate more efficiently. We also looked at our processes and how could we be better about how we work together with regards to shipping product more quickly. So instead of shipping product every 1 to 2 years, we were now moving to 3-week sprints, where every 3 weeks we were delivering new capabilities out to our customers and our users. And then next, we looked at even things on how we measured success. In the past, we looked at install rates of our software. Now we started looking at adoption and usage of our services and customer satisfaction ratings. That was quite critical to our shift. We even looked at things like our roadmap. And in the past, we had a private roadmap or a secret roadmap that we didn't share externally. We moved to a totally different culture and approach with full transparency of our roadmap and posting it publicly so our customers could respond. They could give us feedback on our backlog if we were prioritizing the right features and services to build. Oops, sorry. And last bit was the tools. And I don't want to drill too deeply on the tooling because I have a guest to bring up very quickly. But in this case, we also shifted our tools and our approach for how we were building and managing our software as well. And of course, Azure DevOps was a key component of our journey. Now, we have once again documented our experience and our stories for evolving into a DevOps culture. I encourage you to download or view these stories online. With that, I do want to introduce Michael Bentley, one of our customers from ABN AMRO, to share his experience of his journey to the cloud.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, just a quick show of hands. Who is new to Azure? So most of you, and so most of your companies then are already using Azure. Is that right? Okay, all right. So my name is Michael Bentley. I'm an evangelist for Azure and Microsoft technologies at ABN AMRO. ABN AMRO is a Dutch bank providing banking and financial services to both retail and corporate clients in the Netherlands. And innovation is at the heart of our digital ambition. And with that in mind, we started a journey to the cloud back in 2016, so only 2 years ago. And we started that journey with something that we called an Azure proof of value. And the idea of the proof of value was to answer a few questions, one of which was, would we be able to innovate faster with Azure? Would we become smarter by adopting the platform? And would it allow us to attract and retain the right talent, something that was very important to us, still is very important to us. Now, the proof of value, in order to do that, we chose a number of workloads, and one of those workloads was a debt collection application. A debt collection application was actually an advanced analytics application. And we chose a number of Azure services in order to do the proof of value. And those services were like HD Insights, Streaming Analytics, Data Factory, and Blob Storage. The proof of value took about 3 months. And in January of 2017, it came to a successful end. And the team that undertook the proof of value got the green light to continue with innovation on Azure. Now, in that journey, a team called the Cloud-Based Services Platform team, which we call affectionately CBSP, they're the team that did the proof of value, entered into a period of about 6 months in preparation for us actually creating product and delivering onto Azure. And that period was spent creating a governance process, including foundational controls, which was imperative if we were going to get the approval of our regulators as well as senior stakeholders within the bank. Now, once that was done, 6 months on, so moving towards the end of Q3 in 2017, we started with a lift and shift, which was quite the easiest thing to do. So we identified a number of commercial applications that we had, and we moved those to Linux VMs and Windows VMs, and made use of VM scale sets. That was sort of phase one. From there, we then moved on to the adoption of PaaS, because that's really where we see the benefit on Azure, is the adoption of the PaaS services. So things like the bot framework were really interesting for internet banking, and the adoption of more data analytics applications. And then we moved on to things like SQL DB, app service, and API management. Now, during this time, something that was part of our target operating model is something called shared services. So the CBSP team were designing compliant products, and compliant products are basically products that we have already got pre-approval for use on Azure. So we take a service like SQL DB, or we take a service like App Service, and ensure that the correct security controls were built in. This allowed us then to use workloads that were rated for our most confidential ratings. So we have a system called the CIA rating, where the confidentiality is a number from 1 to 3, 1 being the most confidential. So we decided from day one that all the products that we would design must be rated for the highest confidentiality, so for the highest CIA rating. That allowed us then to create a catalog of products which would allow teams to accelerate their journey to the cloud. So the focus was on PaaS. As the catalog grew, the number of agile teams that we had within the bank rapidly adopted a DevOps way of working, because it meant that they could transition from on-premises to cloud. So the catalyst here was the product catalog. In that journey, today, we're in a position where we have around 20 plus DevOps teams, about 50 products, and about 50 workloads, and about 20 or so products that are officially available in the catalog. And we see our plans for next year accelerating with our adoption of Office 365 and the more maturity that we have within the organization. So we expect to double the number of products in the catalog, which will accelerate teams to the cloud even more. Products are a part of what we need in order to get teams to the cloud. The other part is governance and support of the DevOps process. Agile teams need a lot of nurturing to get from where they are today on premises to a DevOps capability. And that nurturing takes time. And today, honestly, after 2 years, we still don't have any teams that are fully DevOps. We have some teams that have now got a year's experience on Azure, but most teams still need hand-holding. Now, two of the things that I want to call out here are skills and cloud native. So in skills, obviously, we're talking about training, ensuring that teams have the right capabilities in order to do DevOps. And as of thinking of next year, one of the things that's imperative is that all people involved in DevOps wanting to work on the cloud need to be certified. So one of the certifications is developing for micro-certification next year. Now, to help teams in that, we have resources within the bank. We're leveraging standard resources such as the Microsoft Virtual Academy and the Pluralsight to help teams get the necessary education and training. Another aspect of our support of DevOps is our focus on cloud native and PaaS. So for us on Azure, what we want to do is leverage as much as possible the services that Microsoft provide. So we're very keen on the adoption of PaaS such as App Service, SQLDB, Service Fabric Mesh, for example. So we help with it. We help from the cloud native stream orient teams to select the right PaaS. And we do that actually with a sort of a getting started guide. And this is part of our getting started guide. So if we think back for a moment, our cloud-based services platform team creates compliant products. And those are basically just Azure services that are certified for use on Azure for the bank. And these products are then, we've built in the necessary networking, security, identity access management, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Agile teams are used to working on premises and are used to working with the technologies that are familiar to them on premises. So a .NET developer may be familiar with ASP.NET, is familiar with hosting with IIS, but they don't really know from day one what they should be doing on the cloud. So we've created value areas. And those value areas are basically a collection of approved, compliant Azure services that have been created and put into the catalog by the CBSP team. And then we've grouped those into these value areas. So we have value areas for web and API, for microservices, for rapid application development, and actually we have a lot more. So a team comes along and, like I said, they're familiar with IIS, they're familiar with ASP.NET, and they're already oriented towards web and API. And then from web and API, they can see that the services that they would be using on Azure would be App Service. So moving on to our lessons learned. So for the period that we've been on the cloud, now about 18 months, there are some key takeaways. Mindset and behavior changes. You need a change agent. You need an evangelist. Somebody like anybody in this audience, basically. You need somebody that would dare to sort of shake up the organization a bit, kick up a bit of dirt, and not be afraid to get their nose flattened, which has happened occasionally. But basically, 2 years ago, I was like you, first time at a Microsoft Ignite conference, and I was in IT, a disillusioned ITer, basically, working within the bank. And that conference, my first conference, I came back from there basically as a motivated, energized, and reborn as an evangelist. So since then, I've been basically doing what I'm doing today. Another key learning is governance. You need to have a governance model in place. So before you decide to take workloads to the cloud, you need to have thought about governance process, foundational controls, and get approval from any regulators and senior stakeholders in the bank. And then lastly, for us, creating our target operating model of creating a catalog of pre-certified approved products allows us to innovate. It stimulates our innovation and allows us to be, basically to innovate more rapidly. I'll be staying behind, so if anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And then this afternoon in Theatre 10 at 1 o'clock, I have a session where I go into a little bit more detail about this. Thank you very much. Nicole.
Great. Thank you, Michael. All right, thank you, Michael. As he said, he has a theater session where he'll be drilling a lot more into the experiences of ABM AMRO, so I encourage you to attend. We're now going to be closing out this session. Thank you so much for participating. I have a list of resources that you can take advantage of to accelerate your application development on Azure. I also have highlighted 4 related sessions I encourage you to attend on topics like Azure Service Fabric, our Kubernetes service, and our serverless and app service application platforms. Also, please stop by our booth, talk to some of our experts, understand how our engineers can support you with your application modernization, migration goals. And finally, we have these Azure developer guides in the back of the room. Pick one up on your way out. It's a great resource to support you with the modernization of your applications. Thank you so much for your time today. Please take the time to complete the survey.